Hey, what is going on, Ghost Gaming? My name is GronKy, and this video today is specifically going to be for all the controller Fortnite players out there. That's because we're going to be discussing playing Fortnite with a normal controller versus playing Fortnite with a Scuff/Xbox Elite controller versus playing Claw. This is something that I've talked about a little before on my own channel, but I've never really been able to go as in-depth about it as I've wanted to. And since Ghost Gaming is notorious for having a ton of the best controller Fortnite players out there, with guys like Issa, Camo, Aiden, Ino, Assault, and so many more, I suspect that a lot of you guys watching this video are actually controller Fortnite players yourself. And because of that, you probably know that normal controller versus Claw versus Scuff/Xbox Elite is always one of the most heavily debated topics among controller Fortnite players. So without further ado, let's get right into this. Alright, so let's start this video off by talking about the first, and in all likelihood most common way to play controller Fortnite, just playing the game with the regular old Xbox/PS4 controller. Now obviously, you're still going to be able to play the game relatively well, but the truth of the matter is, playing with just the regular controller is going to put you at a significant disadvantage against the players out there that either play with a Scuff, Elite controller, or play the game with a Claw grip. The main reasoning for that is due to the fact that when you're playing Fortnite with a normal controller, the way you position your fingers on the certain buttons do not allow you to jump and aim at the same time. That's because your right thumb is going to be sitting defaultly on the right thumbstick, so therefore when you go to move that finger to press A, which most players will use as the jump button because that's the default option, you're moving your finger off of the aiming thumbstick and therefore can no longer aim while you're jumping. That's fairly obvious, and a lot of controller Fortnite players already know that, but it really can't be understated how big of a disadvantage it is, especially in a game like Fortnite, to not be able to jump and aim at the same time. It's not a super huge deal in medium or long range fights, but in close range shotgun and SMG fights, being able to jump, aim, and shoot at the same time is a huge advantage, and if you can't do it with a normal controller, like the vast majority of players can't, you're obviously going to see your close range fighting really suffer because of it. So knowing that, let's now talk about Scuff/Xbox Elite controllers, which are hands down the most popular option for custom controllers. The biggest advantage that a Scuff/Xbox Elite gives you is so much more customization than a normal controller. This is mainly due to the paddles on the back, which you can program to be whatever button you want. And then, because of the fact that the paddles are positioned on the back of the controller, you'll hit them with fingers that you wouldn't normally be using with just a regular PS4 or Xbox controller. So for example, if you use 2 paddles on your Scuff/Elite, you're basically using 6 fingers to press buttons, while someone with a normal controller is only going to be using 4. I think it's fairly obvious how big of an advantage that can be. And speaking of 2 paddles, although these controllers can have up to 4 different paddles, I would really recommend sticking to 2 or less. I would 100% make one of them be your jump button, and then you could do a bunch of different things if you decide to go with a second paddle. Some players will make that second one be their edit button. Confirm edit is a good option. I've seen some people make it be the button that pulls out their building menu. There's a bunch of really good choices. Now be aware that if you do decide to upgrade to a Scuff/Xbox Elite controller, it will be fairly difficult to get used to. This isn't just something that you're going to be able to do in a few hours or even a few days. You're going to need to be prepared to really suck for a solid week or two if you've never used any kind of a controller with paddles before. So if that's not something you can deal with, it may not be worth it for you. Although, even though this isn't technically a benefit for Fortnite, but in my experience, Scuff/Xbox Elite controllers are considerably higher quality than just the regular old $30 or $40 Xbox/PS4 controller. I know people that take good care of their regular controllers, yet they have to replace them every 6 to 8 months or so. But I've had my Xbox Elite controller for about 2 years now, and it's still in really good shape. The final thing I want to briefly talk about in this video is claw. And in case you don't know what claw is, it's a specific way to hold a regular PS4/Xbox controller, which enables you to use more fingers than the way players normally hold a controller. In my personal opinion, I would strongly recommend just buying a Scuff/Xbox Elite controller instead of trying to learn claw. Sure, at the end of the day, playing claw is free, while buying a new custom controller will run you about $100 to $150, but claw will also take so much longer to get used to, and I also believe it's still slightly inferior to just using a controller with paddles. In my experience, most of the claw players in the Fortnite community now started playing claw before Scuff/Xbox Elite controllers even existed. Also, I don't know if this is 100% true, but I'll just mention it so you're aware. A lot of people believe that playing claw can be harmful to your fingers, hands, or wrist. Again, I'm not a doctor or scientist, so I have no clue if there's any kind of medical or scientific data that actually shows this, but it's probably something you should at least consider looking into if you're pondering switching to claw. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to leave me a comment down in the comment section below, letting me know whether you play with a normal controller, a Scuff/Elite controller, or you play with claw. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the Ghost Gaming channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Okay, get at it, bro. You guys want to restart or? What? Oh my goodness, bro. It's over. Like, Jesus. It's 22 to 13. Can you imagine what's going through this video? It felt like y'all are on a dog. Wait, was he in the bush? I didn't see him.